Perfection isn't your friend. It's a barrier dressed up as a standard. It keeps you safe by keeping you small and stuck. Growth, on the other hand, is messy, courageous, and full of possibility. Every time you choose progress over perfection, curiosity over judgment, and learning over avoiding, you rewrite the story of who you are. You don't have to get it right every time. You just have to keep showing up. Welcome to the Personal Mastery and Growth Podcast, where we explore the keys to unlocking your full potential and living your best life. I'm your host, Jose Johnson. Whether you're looking to make a breakthrough, overcome a challenge, or simply live with greater clarity, joy, and purpose, you'll find the tools and inspirations you need right here. So let's start your journey towards personal mastery and growth right now. Welcome back to the Personal Mastery and Growth Podcast, your go-to resource for practical tips, insightful research, and inspiring stories to help you unlock your full potential. I'm your host, Jose Johnson, and I am an expert in the fields of mindfulness, mindset, and peak performance. And I am so thrilled to have you here with me today, especially since we're celebrating our 50th episode together. And today we're going to explore a topic that's central to every form of lasting change, cultivating a growth mindset. But let's start by acknowledging a trap most of us encountered: perfectionism. We've all heard phrases like, practice makes perfect. But does it really? Or is perfection itself the enemy of meaningful growth? Well, today, I'll show you why choosing growth over perfection isn't just healthier. It's the pathway to lasting mastery. So let's dive in. Let's start by defining perfectionism clearly. It's the belief that flawlessness is attainable, and anything less is failure. Now, it often disguises itself as a strength: attention to detail, high standards, a relentless work ethic. But underneath it, perfectionism breeds self-criticism, procrastination, and anxiety. Here's the paradox. Perfectionism doesn't fuel growth. It stifles it. Why? Because perfectionism sets up impossible standards. You're not just pursuing excellence. You're trying to avoid mistakes. Your brain interprets mistakes as threats, triggering stress, shame, and avoidance behaviors. And when mistakes feel catastrophic, risk-taking and innovation shut down. And the end result? You play small. You hesitate. You wait for the perfect moment, which never comes. Your potential stays dormant, held captive by fear of imperfection. To truly grow, we have to break free from perfectionism and embrace a different mindset altogether. All right, so let's dive deeper into what a growth mindset truly involves and why it matters so much for our personal growth, achievement, and well-being. The concept of a growth mindset was popularized by psychologist Dr. Carol Dweck, who distinguished between two fundamental ways of thinking: the fixed mindset, which is the belief that our intelligence, our talent, and our abilities are essentially set in stone, unchangeable traits that we're born with. If you have a fixed mindset, you may believe you're either naturally good at something or you aren't. You tend to see effort as a sign of weakness rather than strength. And mistakes are proof of an inadequacy rather than opportunities to learn. Now, compare that to a growth mindset. This mindset embraces the opposite beliefs. It recognizes that your abilities, your intelligence, and your skills are dynamic. They're capable of growing, evolving, and expanding through effort, dedication, and practice. If you operate from a growth mindset, you see effort as a path to mastery, mistakes as valuable feedback, and challenges as exciting opportunities to stretch and to grow. Now, it's important to clarify. Having a growth mindset doesn't mean believing that everyone can achieve everything instantly or effortlessly. Instead, it emphasizes that potential can be developed through persistence, curiosity, strategic learning, and resilience. So, why is adopting a growth mindset so powerful? Because it's deeply rooted in the science of neuroplasticity, the brain's remarkable ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. When you consciously approach learning with curiosity, openness, and perseverance, your brain actively forms and strengthens new pathways. So, for example, imagine you're learning a new skill like playing guitar. At first, the neural pathways for that activity are weak. It's difficult. You feel clumsy and unsure. But as you continue practicing intentionally, repeatedly, patiently, the neurons in your brain begin to fire more efficiently, creating stronger connection. Over time, what once felt challenging becomes second nature. Your brain literally rewires itself through deliberate practice and effort. And here's the beautiful thing: the same principle applies not only to physical skills, but also to mental and emotional skills like confidence, compassion, and resilience. Every time you choose curiosity over frustration, self compassion over criticism, or growth over perfection, you're physically reshaping your brain. A wealth of scientific research supports the profound benefits of adopting a growth mindset, both personally and professionally. Here are just a few evidence backed outcomes. One, improved resilience and emotional regulation. People with a growth mindset bounce back faster from setbacks. Why? Because they interpret setbacks as temporary challenges rather than permanent defeats. This mindset helps to reduce stress hormones like cortisol and promotes emotional flexibility, allowing quicker recovery and increased overall emotional resilience. Number two, greater motivation and persistence. Studies show that when you view challenges as opportunities to learn rather than threats, you're more motivated to persist even when tasks get difficult. Your brain's reward centers become activated not just by outcomes, but by the act of engaging in meaningful effort itself. Number three, enhance creativity and innovation. A growth mindset creates psychological safety, making you feel freer to take risks, explore new ideas, and innovate. Mistakes become acceptable, even valuable, which fosters greater creativity and openness to experimentation. Number four, stronger relationships. With a growth mindset, feedback feels less threatening. You learn to approach criticism as constructive rather than personal. And this leads to healthier relationships and improved communication, both personally and professionally. Number five, increased academic and career achievement. In educational and workplace settings, people with a growth mindset consistently outperform those with a fixed mindset. Why? Because they persist through obstacles, continuously adapt, actively seek feedback, and apply effective learning strategies. Number six, higher levels of well being and satisfaction. Believing you have the capacity to improve, grow, and adapt promotes a sense of agency, hope, and optimism, all powerful ingredients for overall life satisfaction and mental health. All right, so let's take a practical example to illustrate these benefits clearly. Let's imagine two people, Alex and Jordan. Both receive challenging feedback at work. Now, Alex has a fixed mindset. Upon receiving the feedback, Alex feels personally attacked. Their self esteem is bruised, they withdraw, disengage, and respond defensively. Their stress levels rise, their confidence suffers, and they avoid similar situations in the future. Now, contrast that with Jordan, who has a growth mindset. When Jordan receives similar feedback, their first instinct isn't defensiveness. Instead, Jordan becomes curious. What's useful here? How can I grow from this? Jordan might feel temporary discomfort, but Jordan's brain quickly activates circuits associated with problem solving, openness, and learning. And as a result, Jordan adapts faster, experiences lower stress, and ultimately performs better moving forward. The difference isn't about personality or inherent talent, it's about mindset, how each person interprets challenges, effort, and feedback. And the good news, you can choose to cultivate Jordan's approach anytime you want. So, how do you shift from fixed to growth thinking? First, you recognize the choice points, the moments that you notice fixed mindset thoughts arising. Thoughts like, I'm just not good at this. Why am I even trying if I'm going to fail? This mistake proves I'm not capable. When you notice those thoughts, you consciously reframe them. Reframe them to things like, I'm still learning. This is part of the process. Trying and failing is better than not trying at all. Mistakes help me learn faster and smarter. Now, this reframing isn't about forcing positivity. It's about realistically and compassionately shifting perspective. You're not denying difficulty or struggle. You're acknowledging it openly and embracing it as part of your growth. Over time, your brain learns this new pattern. Growth-based thinking becomes your default. Your emotional response to setbacks shifts from panic to curiosity, from defensiveness to openness. And in doing this, you don't just change your thinking, you change your brain, your behavior, and ultimately your trajectory. So remember, choosing growth isn't about being perfect or endlessly positive. It's about embracing your human capacity to adapt, learn, and evolve. Your mind isn't fixed, it's flexible, resilient, and built for growth. So, how do you know if perfectionism or a fixed mindset has a grip on you? Well, here's some common signs. Avoiding challenges. If you constantly shy away from new or difficult tasks for fear of failure, you're likely protecting a fixed mindset narrative. Personalizing mistakes. When mistakes trigger internal shame, like, I'm such a failure, instead of curiosity, what can I learn? Your mindset is fixed. Ignoring constructive feedback. If you find yourself defensive or resistant when receiving feedback, you're closing doors to growth. Envying others' successes. Viewing others' achievements as threats or proof of your inadequacy rather than inspiration indicates a fixed mindset. Giving up easily. Quitting at the first sign of discomfort or uncertainty reveals an underlying belief that abilities can't be changed. Hey, if you're enjoying this episode and you're ready to take your growth to the next level, check out my online course, The Mindset Makeover. It's a step-by-step system to help you identify the beliefs that are holding you back and replace them with the mindsets that you need to thrive. You'll get tools, guided exercises, and a clear path forward, whether you're stuck, starting over, or just ready to level up. Learn more and enroll now at josejohnson.com/mindset, because real change starts from the inside out. All right, so let's get practical. Here are 6 powerful strategies to strengthen your growth mindset. Number 1, reframe failure as feedback. The next time something doesn't go as planned, intentionally reframe it. Instead of thinking to yourself, I failed at this, say, this is valuable feedback. What can I learn here? Doing this repeatedly helps your brain categorize setbacks as opportunities rather than threats. Number 2, embrace the power of yet. Add one simple word, yet, to your limiting beliefs. So instead of, I can't do this, say, I can't do this yet. The word yet activates possibility, signaling your brain that learning is still in process. Number 3, normalize imperfect action. Perfectionists wait until they're fully ready, but growth requires imperfect action. Challenge yourself to start small, even when uncomfortable. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Think about this mantra: imperfect action beats perfect inaction. Number 4, use identity-based affirmations. Craft affirmations around growth-oriented identity traits. Things like, I am someone who learns from challenges. I embrace mistakes as part of mastery. Affirmations influence our self-image, and identity is one of the most potent drivers of behavior change. Number 5, cultivate compassionate self-talk. Replace criticisms with kindness. Ask yourself, how would I speak to a friend right now? Reframing your inner dialogue rewires your emotional response to setbacks, making them less threatening and more instructive. Number 6, the feedback flip. Intentionally seek constructive feedback. Ask friends, colleagues, or mentors, what's one thing that you think that I can improve? Where do you see opportunity for me to grow? Receiving feedback actively trains your brain to associate growth with openness and humility. Now, as you work to adopt a growth mindset, one of the most transformative shifts that you can make is changing the way you set and approach goals. Now, most people set outcome goals, specific end results that they want to achieve. Things like, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to write a best-selling book, or maybe I want to earn a promotion by next quarter. Outcome goals are popular because they're clear, they're measurable, and they're often inspiring. But here's the hidden challenge. Outcome goals are usually outside your direct control. You can't always control how quickly your body responds, how the market receives your book, or how a manager perceives your value. And when your goal depends on factors beyond your immediate influence, frustration, anxiety, and self-criticism can creep in, especially if you're wired towards perfectionism. You start to doubt yourself when the scale doesn't budge, your manuscript gets rejected, or your promotion doesn't come as quickly as you'd hoped. So this is where process goals come into play. Process goals are about your habits, your behaviors, your actions, things completely within your control. Rather than focusing on end results, process goals emphasize consistent, intentional action. So, for example, rather than setting an outcome goal of losing 20 pounds, you set a process goal like, I'll go for 30-minute walks every morning, or I'll include vegetables with every meal, or maybe I'll drink 8 glasses of water every day. Instead of writing a bestseller, your process goal could be, I'll write for 30 minutes each day. I'll read 1 book per month to improve my writing. I'll join a writing community for support and for feedback. Process goals empower you because they're entirely within your control. You can't guarantee a bestseller, but you can guarantee daily writing. You can't force your boss to promote you, but you can consistently improve your skills and communicate your achievements clearly. When you shift your focus to process goals, several powerful things happen. First, you gain confidence and momentum. Every day you complete your process goals, you build micro wins. Now, these small, frequent successes build your confidence and create momentum, reinforcing your sense of agency and making larger success far more likely. Your brain releases dopamine every time you check off a small task, reinforcing the behavior and making consistency easier over time. And second, you reduce anxiety and perfectionism. Process goals lower the emotional stakes. Instead of obsessing over outcomes you can't fully control, you focus on what's manageable and achievable each day. This dramatically reduces stress and anxiety. You no longer fixate on perfectionism. You concentrate on making progress. Third, you build real mastery. Consistent action builds skill. A best-selling book doesn't happen by accident. It happens because a writer sits down and writes every day. A promotion comes because you consistently build skills and communicate value. Focusing on process not only helps you achieve desired outcomes, it ensures lasting mastery by embedding those outcomes into sustainable habits. Fourth, you become adaptable and resilient. When you're attached solely to outcomes, setbacks feel devastating. But with a process goal orientation, setbacks are simply feedback. If your writing isn't flowing, you don't think, I'm failing as a writer. You ask, how can I adjust my routine or my approach? You learn to adapt, refine, and bounce back stronger. Fifth, you enjoy the journey. One of the greatest tragedies of perfectionism is that it often steals your joy. You can't enjoy success because you're too worried about the next outcome. But when you focus on daily processes, you learn to savor growth itself. You enjoy the act of writing, moving, learning, rather than just the final product. This intrinsic motivation boosts happiness, satisfaction, and long-term motivation. All right, so let's illustrate this with a concrete example. Imagine two people, Mia and Lucas, who both want to run their first marathon. Mia sets an outcome goal. I want to finish my marathon in under 4 hours. She pushes hard, fixating on pace and timing. Any day that she's slower than planned, it feels like failure. Training becomes stressful, and injuries or setbacks feel catastrophic. Now, Lucas, on the other hand, sets a process goal. I'll follow my running plan 5 days a week and stay hydrated and stretch after each run. Lucas isn't fixated on pace. He's focused on consistency, preparation, and effort. He celebrates each run as progress, regardless of the speed. Training feels rewarding, enjoyable, and sustainable. On race day, both Mia and Lucas may complete the marathon. But who do you think enjoyed the journey more? Who built lasting habits for long-term health? Who's more likely to keep running after the race? You see, that's the difference between outcome goals and process goals. Outcome goals can inspire you, but process goals, they sustain you. So when setting your own process goals, ask yourself 3 simple questions. First, what daily habits or routines would inevitably move me towards my desired outcome? 2, how can I celebrate incremental progress and reinforce my consistency? And 3, what's one small thing I can control each day to make meaningful progress? Remember that process goals don't eliminate your outcome ambitions. They just give you a clear, sustainable roadmap to reach them. They're your daily compass guiding you towards lasting mastery, confidence, and growth. Now, ultimately, process goals are the practical embodiment of a growth mindset. They acknowledge your inherent power to adapt, learn, and evolve through daily intentional action. All right, so this week, I challenge you to consciously choose growth over perfection. Pick one area of your life, work, health, relationships. Reflect on it. Where's perfectionism holding me back? What's one action that I can take this week, even if it feels uncomfortable or imperfect? Then take that action. Celebrate the effort, not the result. And if you're ready to dive deeper into cultivating a growth mindset, I've got 2 great resources for you. The Mindset Makeover book, which is available now for pre-order, and it's filled with research, stories, and practical tools to help you transform your thinking. Or the Mindset Makeover course. This is a self-paced online program where you'll identify limiting mindsets and learn step-by-step strategies to unlock your potential. Now, both resources can help you to move from theory into action, creating real, lasting shifts. And you can find details at josejohnson.com/mindset. All right, let me leave you with this reminder. Perfection isn't your friend. It's a barrier dressed up as a standard. It keeps you safe by keeping you small and stuck. Growth, on the other hand, is messy, courageous, and full of possibility. Every time you choose progress over perfection, curiosity over judgment, and learning over avoiding, you rewrite the story of who you are. You don't have to get it right every time. You just have to keep showing up. All right, thanks for joining me today on the Personal Mastery and Growth Podcast. If this episode helped you, please share it, leave a review, or just drop me a message. I'd love to hear your insights and celebrate your imperfect action. Until next time, stay grounded, stay growing, and keep stepping boldly into your best life. And remember, it is what it is, but it becomes what you make it. So make it great. Thanks for tuning in. Before we wrap up, I just want to remind you that the information shared in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional advice or treatment. While the content of this podcast is based on research and personal experience, everyone's situation is unique, and the advice given may not be applicable to all. Always consult a qualified professional before making significant changes in your life. The Personal Mastery and Growth Podcast is recorded at the So Good Media Studios, located in the Candy Factory, a co-working space in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.